All right. What can we do? A Beasttamer.
Yes, everyone's favorite class.
It's finally happened, guys. All right. How is Beasttamer? How are you enjoying the game?
I like Beasttamer. I kind of like the visuals of it. It's
Mm-hmm.
more why I play it, I guess. Um, a bit difficult progressing in terms of solo, but I'm getting there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of stuck on Lotus Damien, normal Lotus Damien, so yeah.
For soloing or for party?
For solo game.
Mm-hmm.
I've only tried Lotus, so but
Okay. So party. What's like the hardest you've cleared party in solo?
I haven't done party, but solo for Lotus, for normal Lotus, I've gotten to phase 3, maybe 50%,
Mm-hmm.
then I die out.
Hmm. And you lose most of the lives in phase 3 typically.
Uh, yeah, I'll probably lose a couple lives in phase 2. Usually I can burst down phase 1,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just hard because off burst I'm kind of just jumping around.
Yeah. Once you get your airplane, you can go hard, but without it, it's doing
Yeah,
all of the small things together and then hope it tickles them enough, kind of thing.
yeah.
Um. Should be dying in phase 2. What kills you in phase 2?
Um, mm, More just the lasers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I usually I should practice that more. I usually get hit by the platform if I die
Mm-hmm. You do have
as
your long
opposed.
iframes though, right? So it should be able to, even if it happens once or maybe even twice, you should have the long iframe available, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you do also have the flight and the bird mode, right? Which should keep.
No.
You don't have it?
I should go into that, but
Mm-hmm. Because you'll be able to fly definitely long enough to just stay over the laser.
yeah.
And then
I don't have points in fly. I'm
mm,
in bear, cat, leopard pretty much.
mm-hmm.
And I
Do you
think
find that
bird
you
I
yeah?
only get to uh, oh, actually I do get fly.
You can get it?
Oh
Because
yeah, I do. Never
yeah,
mind. Yeah.
because then you don't even have to worry about the platforms. Then it's more about like just getting far enough away from Lotus, flying up and just dodging whatever comes falling from the sky. But there is a bigger delay now between when the platforms are down and then when he does his little animation that triggers the laser. There's like another 3 seconds in between. So you wanna kind of keep him in the corner for quite a while and then go to the other side and then start flying, or then go to the platform. The main thing is not to be like, oh, there's a platform, and then immediately getting on it, because he'll have,
Mhm.
no matter where it is, he'll have plenty of time of like walking over to you and then starting to like pummel you off. The only thing that's safe is if it's a left corner pocket platform, because there, even if he pushes you, you stay on the platform, you can't fall off. So that one is a bit safer.
Okay. Okay.
And you have 3 iframes, right?
I have 2.
Oh, didn't you have 3? Hang on.
What's the
There was
I have the
the hyper
I
with
have
the
the 30
cannon.
second one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I have the other hyper, which is the cannon.
Yeah. Oh, and then you have ethereal form, right?
Oh yeah, I don't
Which is
use
kind of a
that
thing.
currently.
Yeah. So that could also be something. In the beginning, while you're still practicing bosses, you might have to, kind of over invest into survivability more, so that you can get
Mhm.
used to the situations where you're like, okay, here, this would have killed me. So the next time you know that you can avoid that situation so you can get further. But if you never have enough survivability to be able to kind of pinpoint like this would have killed me, this would have killed me, then you never have enough practice in all of the situations and you can never get past it. You always kind of like die out before you can experience more situations that could possibly kill you. But if you die to more things, you just, and you know that for next time, then you know how to where to definitely not go, right? Which is sometimes that's just the process of elimination when you're practicing a boss. Like, okay, not here, got it. All right, let's try something else next time. But if every time that gets punished with you dying out and then having to wait again, yeah, that could make the whole process last longer.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense actually. I never considered using ethereal form, but yeah.
Yeah, between that you have 3 iframes,
Right.
and then with the flight for phase 2, I think that should make phase 2 definitely. I mean, it'll take a little while as a Beasttamer, of course, but it'll allow you to do that hopefully without dying in phase 2, and then you should have full lives for phase 3. And yeah, phase 3 is very normal in the beginning that you die at least like 3, 4, you maybe even die out a few times there. It's very normal. It depends on how fast you're killing it, of course, and hopefully if you look through all of your stuff, maybe we could make you kill it a little bit faster. But yeah, it's perfectly normal to die out the first few times. No,
Okay.
no shame in that. And then, and Damien, you haven't tried yet?
Yeah, I haven't tried Damien. I don't fully. I mean, I kind of understand, I guess, but at the same time, I haven't done it myself, so don't really get it.
You know how the cleansing works?
I know you have to do it, or you want to do it before you have full stacks, because then it'll summon another sword.
Yeah, it kills you and you get a sword. Correct. Yeah, which is 7. So you get passive stacks every X amount of time, and if you're soloing, you get them all the time, right? Otherwise, it's like a random player who gets it. And whenever you get hit by one of his attacks, you also get a stack. So in the beginning, the best thing you could do in the beginning to go in is just to practice dodging everything, and then not even focus on damage, just focus on dodging. Just dodging and cleansing. Just like try to live as long as possible. And then you can start seeing opportunities where you can start seeing his attack patterns better. You can start seeing them coming, and then you can start throwing in damage extra. So the main thing is that there is a sword in phase 1, and it's almost always just gonna land right on the cleanse, which is fine because even if you're dodging everything, you can get 7 stacks. So there's roughly like 7 cleanses worth of timing that you have available to cleanse. But the problem is if Damien overlaps with the cleanse, because if he just hits you with anything or the sword hits you, then your cleanse gets interrupted and you have to start again. And if the sword is on top of it, you can't do it, obviously. Well, so as a Beasttamer, you have a big plus there, so because you can pop your 30-second iframe, just walk into the fire and just cleanse, So that's like a huge benefit that you have. The other thing some people have to do as a precaution is like if they're at 6 stacks and they know they're not going to be able to cleanse, they suicide first, and then they wait for a cleanse to spawn. And then with the resistance link skill, they respawn and then cleanse it so that they don't die to the 7 stacks and don't get the sword to show up. Because you're going to die anyway, but it's better to just die than to die with a sword. So once you have 2 swords chasing you, it gets really annoying. But in general, the sword, the cleanse is always somewhere like in the middle of the map, like in the middle, I would say like the middle 80% of the map, right? And like there's like 10% of the map on each side where the cleanse doesn't spawn. So as soon as the sword kind of targets you, you'll see a target on your character, and depending on how high the sword is, either it'll land immediately or it'll bounce around a little bit and like recalibrate, trying to get you basically. If you rush for the corner and then get the sword to land on you, and then jump out of the corner when it lands, then it'll never overlap with the cleanse, because the cleanse will never stick to the corner like that. And then you can also give yourself way more space in the middle to fight Damien.
Okay.
Another good piece of advice is to try to always keep sight of Damien so that you know which attack he's doing, especially in the beginning, so that you can have a bigger head start on reacting to his attack, and also that you can what I call like blind approaches, because the map is bigger than your screen, right? So sometimes you'll be like, oh, I wonder where he is, and then you jump to the side, and then he does some weird attack where he dives pretty much instantly and then hits you, and then either you get a stack or later on you might actually die from it. So make sure that you see what he's doing before you approach. If you don't know where he is, he'll probably teleport around sooner or later anyway, and then get closer to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing you'll notice is that when he either punches to the side, when he creates one of those big pink blobs of, I don't know, like ethereal energy or something, and then he swipes to the side, or when he's in the air and he dashes down diagonally, there's a very big lingering hitbox after he finishes those skills, like of 2, almost 3 seconds. And if you approach him too quickly, you'll get a stack, get knocked back, sometimes into a sword, so you want to be careful for that. And it deals a decent amount of damage as well. and it just slows you down, stuns you. It's not good. So you have to really count like 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Sometimes even he'll start his next skill, and you approach him, and you'll still get hit by the previous one. It's a really long hitbox. Those were like some of the most annoying things to get used to. But you're worn now, so if it hits, you'll be like, oh, that's what he mentioned. You'll still get hit by it probably. Like I still get hit by it sometimes because I think like, okay, now I can definitely. Nope, still too soon. So you'll immediately notice what I'm talking about. But yeah, as long as you keep the fight in the middle and the sword in the corners, you'll have less chance of like getting pushed into the fire, for example. So the safest place if you see him do the push to the side is just to try to get behind him before he can do the attack. Otherwise he'll just swipe you in the direction of the attack.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, your iframe should help you for the clutch cleanses and those kind of things.
I guess I should start practicing Damien soon.
Yeah, just yeah. I mean, if that's what you want to do, because it seems like you do want to get be able to solo those bosses, right?
Yeah, it's my current next goal. Solo those.
And is your goal to just keep on soloing until you can't solo no more, or?
Pretty much. Slowly level to get to, try to solo everything.
Okay. You chose the perfect soloing class, I think.
Yeah.
Did you mistype your IGN, or? Or is this a statement that we're? Do you wanna elaborate your cause? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. All right. Yeah, no. The Freeze lives matter too. All of that stuff. So when you're training, are you like mainly in the bear or in the leopard mode?
I mainly train in bear.
Just like trumpeting all around the map, the fire killing things, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's crazy crit damage, I believe, right?
Crazy crit damage for.
Like in that mode, you have a lot of crit damage.
I don't know.
Or is that in cat mode? Oh, it might be cat mode buffs here.
Yeah, I have 63% without sharp eyes.
Oh yeah, crit rate. I meant critical damage. That goes up like, because in the second picture you have like 122.
Oh yeah. That's like my fully buffed. The second picture.
So how do you? But this is with the cat buffs, right?
Yeah, the cat buffs and the leopard passives.
So, but can you maintain this while also doing actual damage? Or is this just a range boost?
It stays up for the 30 seconds that the whistle is up.
Oh, right. That summons like all of the passive buffs of all of the forms or something?
Yeah, of whatever you're spec'd into.
Okay, and that's for a minute, and that's like 3-minute cooldown or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Long cooldown.
But also long uptime, so you can do at least some damage for a while. Yeah, it'd be better if it was like a 60-minute cooldown and like a 20-second uptime, right? That would be way better. You can use it with some big skills. Wow. Okay, so that puts you 99 visual defense, 335. Those are some numbers right here. That's actually pretty solid. 60 mil. But yeah, your crit rate is because if you're in bear mode, you get a lot of crit from that, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah. So I'm good on crit rate. I'm usually at 100%.
I feel like you go over 100 if you're just in bear mode without like anything or something, right? It's almost just using the sharp eyes for the critical damage rather than for the rate. It's like bishop tier.
Because I don't go into any of the link skills and legion for crit rate, I'm at like 92.
Oh yeah, okay. But yeah, like really close, yeah. Maybe if you get a little bit more in your legion, like the legion crit characters, maybe you can get up to like 98 or even 100, right? I don't know if you have like the Night Lord and the Marksman, for example.
Yeah, I have both of them. One's at 200, one's at 140.
Okay. So that would only be 1% extra. Okay. But yeah, it's really close to 100 without really putting much effort into it. That's really nice.
Yeah.
For the leopard, you need more, right?
Yeah, the leopard I would need more crit rate. But if I were to use leopard, it'd probably be during training, and then
Mm-hmm.
my training legion, I would probably just put into crit rate.
Right, right, because you could take damage off IED boss and then just flip it over. Yeah, and that way you don't have to like, start redoing weapon secondary emblem stuff. Okay. Yeah, Beasttamer is also kind of new for me, so I'm just trying to explore, make sure that the things that I think I know are somewhat accurate before I
Yeah.
start giving you like crazy advice that might be way off. Because yeah, and I think for the is there for the bird form? Isn't there like a skill that gives you a bunch of crit as well? So for the bird, you wouldn't have to switch, I think.
Oh yeah, the bird has
Like 30 or something.
the active buff. Yeah, that gives you like 30 or
Mm-hmm.
something.
And final damage or percentage attack or something, or percentage magic attack.
Yeah, I think it's percentage or not even percentage magic attack.
Is it flat magic attack maybe?
Flat magic attack for
It's
the
like
active buffs.
mm-hmm. Whoa, a Beasttamer. Yep, we found one. Actually, Nate requested help with his Beasttamer as well, like months ago, but he hasn't really planned anything with me yet, so that one's still on hold. Okay, the Legion build is looking good. I
wasn't sure if I should spec more into ID. I used to have it all in ID, and then looking at the stats, I was like, I think I only need like 95 without my whistle, so I changed it to that.
Yeah, if you have 95 visual without that whistle buff, you're very high up. But what it's possible though that we look at maybe respecking your WSE is like a better way to go, and then specking it back into IED. That could also be a way to go. But we'll see what makes more sense, because we don't want to, especially because Beasttamer has so many different forms. We don't want to overspec for one form and then leave the other ones hanging. So when you're bossing, you're mainly in bear, right?
Yeah, so pretty much bossing and mobbing, I'm only in bear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not,
You would
not
only
using
go
leopard
into
that
Jaguar if you were going really big maps, I guess?
Yeah, big maps for, or longer maps.
Yeah, like flat horizontal maps, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you could just zoom from one side to the other with the weird
With
Beasttamer.
The wave dashing thing.
Yeah, exactly. I love showing that on stream every now and then. People go like, "What the fuck is this even legal?" Because it doesn't look legal.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna patch it out the time they fixed it, but then they updated Beasttamer, but
Nah.
it's still in. So
I mean, you have a bunch of other things that you're like not great at, so you can at least get this as a compensation,
yeah.
Okay, it's magic yet. So what are your plans, Legion-wise? Are you just gonna like slowly keep trucking, trying to aim for 8K, or?
Yeah, probably very slowly. But I mean, I have most of my characters. I usually get to 200 and then stop playing, which is kind of bad. But
you mean you've done that like 3, 4, 5 times before the Beasttamer or something, and then?
With like all my other characters, I pretty much haven't gotten past 200.
I see a few that made it like 204, 202.
Yeah. I used to main a bishop, so that's why that one's technically my third highest.
I see. Yeah. Are you burning the Dawn Warrior now? Is that what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'll probably get it to 200, and we'll see how far.
201 or 202.
Yeah.
Honestly, the 5th job I think is pretty fun for it. Do you like the mana consumption?
Ooh, yeah, that one. It's a lot of. I'm always out of mana, so that's kind of like weird to pot for mana.
Especially in 2020 or 2021 now. Yeah. There's that.
Yeah.
There's that one skill where the one skill, it's not World Reaver, that's the hero skill, but like the giant swipe thing you do, that consumes so much mana, and then there's a 5th job skill that lets you spam that, so you just guzzle mana for like 30 seconds. You're just spamming potions.
Man.
You have like a
different problems.
you have like a specific thing you do, right? For when you're leveling your characters up, because I can see like repeating numbers in your Legion power that are like very, very much exactly the same. So it seems like you've developed some kind of a rhythm for these characters. You got like the same item star forced and the same, right?
Yeah, a lot of them actually, like, I'm like a back on and back off player for like almost since Reboot started. So I've done a lot of the burnings in the beginning, and then I'd stop, and then I'd come back for a burning, and then I'd stop. So a lot of I had a lot from burnings. That's why they all kind of have frozen gear and roughly at 140. Because I also for that one I would stop before 150.
I can see the names of your characters have not gotten better over the years. Servers are Bodo, I hate this game. Character sucks deck, why games suck. Like you're nearing the end of your Legion very clearly. Okay, so these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the characters that are in your over 808. Yeah. These are the characters that are in your Legion actively. Like, oh no, not all of them, right? Because I see some arrows missing.
I think I'm missing.
But their levels are counting. I mean, for the
oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's just 2 more characters. Yeah. And then maybe a 0 if it levels faster. I don't think you have one here, right?
Yeah, I don't. I have my 0 at 112, but I haven't finished chapter 2 or something. So
yeah, I think if you have to finish chapter 2 to be able to leave the mirror world.
Yeah.
Some people do that. They leave it and then they can train faster outside, and then they come back to go through the storyline faster as well. That's what I heard. Yeah, so you would. I mean, you won't need everything at 200, but like pretty much, right? If you do want to get the 8K Legion.
Yeah.
Do you have the general order kind of clear on what order would be ideal to work on things?
I'm guessing like all the experience ones, and then like crit damage stuff. So
yeah, crit rate and crit damage are very high up as well. Yeah, pretty much. I don't know if you've seen this command, but basically this one tries to advise on that. So it makes the combination of both the experience and both the Legion and the links, and then prioritizes them kind of based on the value for your entire account, more so than the value for your specific character, because by getting value for your account, you level your characters faster, and that gives you more value to your character. So it's like a trickle-down kind of thought behind it. If you're going for 8K, I would advise considering making some level 3 links first. If you're already pretty close, like getting the extra 10 levels on the Mercedes, for example. Maybe because I mean that would speed the whole thing up quite a bit.
My Mercedes, yeah. I haven't even done the 5th job advancement yet.
I set on I think I had like 25 characters or something that set at level 200 without any 5th job, and I took like a week to kind of like roll them all into 5th job. I get that. I mean, you're just getting the leveling and getting out. But if you are going for the 8K, I think it will benefit you. The 10 levels in the short term might be kind of brutal, but in the long term, it'll pay off.
Yeah.
And like the Evan as well. I don't know where your Evan is at.
Kind of low, 140 still. 141.
There might be one worth considering as well, together with the Aaron, because the Evan and the Aaron have Sunny Sunday overlap sometimes, right? Where you get more. Oh, here it is. Yeah, where you get extra duration or shorter cooldowns for runes and extra experience on the orbs, and in combination that'll help you train even faster as well. So that's worth exploring to level up. or you know, dedicating a Terror Burn to in 6 months if it really is not your cup of tea at all. But yeah, 140 everything is definitely doable because you're already super close. But then yeah, I would do the experience one, so that includes the 0 then as well, and then crit rates and stuff like Phantom, Hayato, Jet, Shade, possibly the Marksman, but by the name, I I assume that you're not a huge fan of that one.
Yeah, a lot of the ones towards the bottom of the Legion is all from the Astral event.
Mm-hmm. Right,
I
right.
got them all to 140 then.
In the special map there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. But yeah, 140 is a good place to keep them for sure. Okay. Yeah, but build makes sense. Do you have 2 presets for your?
Yeah, usually I have a the bossing set that's on there, and my second set is mostly it's just all in bonus EXP and crit rate mostly, and then it leaks into crit damage whatever I have left.
Right. Okay. So to be able to Jaguar or Bird, I guess, because I heard that since the last rework, some Bird was pretty good, almost as good as Jaguar in some maps.
Yeah, I think I read in a little bit on Reddit that the Bird is fairly good at mobbing now.
Mm-hmm. Because they
there
was like the one of the bigger attacks, right? They shortened the cooldown and made the hitbox way bigger or something.
Yeah, but then there was also right when it switched
formation
over
attack?
the Bird.
Was it that? Yeah.
The right when it switched over, the Bird was broken.
Oh
It
yeah,
didn't deal. It's had numbers, but didn't deal damage.
Oh, right. Nothing died. You could just like spam it, and you saw a bunch of numbers, but everything was just chilling. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I haven't tried it since then.
Mm-hmm. I haven't either though. So I got mine at 210 a long time ago for the link skill, and I think I haven't played it through like the last 3 reworks or something. So be quite a thing for me as well. So wait, so with all of that, are you do you have any like sources of skill level plus 1 or 2 to kind of like, is there like meta wise, is that value, or is it always kind of
I think 1 is good usually. So I have combat orders.
Mm-hmm.
To get kind of all 3 pets, or I mean all 3 forms, or at least 3 forms. I think if you get all the forms with like +5 from like all the sources.
+5 in total? Okay. Because you can get, what is it, skill level +1 from a familiar badge, right?
Oh, I didn't know that actually. Oh yeah, from the badge. Yeah,
I think there's one set. But is it like a hard one to get, or?
I'm not sure. I think I haven't been looking into familiars that much.
Let's see. Yeah, we can circle back. Or we can like go organically and then see if we forgot anything along the way. Ignore. Here, all skills +1. Oh, it's the hatching badge, the one in Leafer.
Then I think you need the Dragonor. Yeah.
You need the Manon, which I have. Cool. I think I got that one from a booster pack. That does tend to give good shit. And all the other ones are just straightforward? Really?
I think the Dragonor you need from the...
Oh, yeah, Dragonor. Yeah. Dragonor and Leviathan and Griffey as well. Oof, okay. Yeah, that is quite tricky. So there is a reason to do to do the PQ still, I guess.
Yeah.
Most people
Very
have completely
niche.
forgotten about it. Yeah, pretty niche. So that's a min-maxy thing for Beasttamer to do. Yeah, but that does, I mean, just 1 level gives you, what, like 40 skill points or something? Or even more?
Yeah, it could. Depends on how I spec into the skills.
Mm-hmm.
Because even certain ones of my bear form I keep at max level so that I don't have to worry about it, like knockback resistance and stuff.
For sure. But
so if I get a badge actually, then that would help.
Yeah, because you don't have jobs, but combat orders has limits for other characters on what jobs it gives the +1 level. Does it work on all the skills?
I think it works on all the skills.
Except for like hypers and stuff and 5th jobs, of course. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So all of them are like +1,
Yeah.
but that goes over, right? Yeah.
I don't think it goes over.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh.
Yeah, it only buffs everything
Okay,
up.
that would make sense. Yeah, but do you know that for some it goes over or not?
Oh, I didn't check if I didn't know that for other jobs some of them could go over.
Yeah, so for passive fourth jobs, for other jobs, it goes over if you use it. So for my arc, for example, it's very good to have it because, you know, everyone has everything maxed, right? So you look at the skill differently. But then if I use combat orders, so you see all of them gain a level for me. So they go all 1 over. So I get more attack on my base skill. This one gives 1% more boss damage to myself and as the cast, so that's 2% more. 1% more stat on Maple Warrior. So if you have any skills, like here's a critical damage, I think a final damage from this one. So if you have any skill that's maxed and you use decent combat orders, can you see if anything goes like +1 over?
I haven't tried, but I think pretty sure I've seen that it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, maybe that's kind of like the contingency because you have so many skills. Otherwise, it'd be broken. I don't know if skills maybe have any sub labels where it is like that they're labeled as a quote unquote fourth job passive or something, even though you don't have job advancements.
Yeah. So yeah, one of my skills that I have maxed, if I use combat orders, it stays just the max level, and then it doesn't go over.
Okay. And what's the meta for hats? Because that has skill level as well, right?
Yeah. I don't know. hard to find the meta.
Yeah, there's like 6 total Beasttamers out there, so.
Yeah. But I mean, like your hyper skill does give you all your passives, so I would assume that if you could spec into all of the forms, it would be really good. But
yeah, that's what I'm assuming as well.
I don't know if the loss from like the int from the hat would be better or worse.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing, because a lot of other classes, what they look at is like -2 cooldown, right, for the hat, because the hat is already notoriously bad to to tier up or to get good lines on.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's so much shit in there. So if you can rely on the all skill +2 or on the cooldown, and if it's even like remotely similar to intellect, that would just give you more outs that you can be like, okay, well, if I have 2 lines of intellect and a line of all skill, like this is good enough. This is like endgame worthy. But if there's even like a case that it's better, you know, then you might want to know about that as well. But that might be a very specific Beasttamer-y thing. I don't know if you have any other Beasttamer contacts that you can ask about this.
Yeah, I don't know. I have looked around, but haven't like seen that much stuff on any recent stuff. I haven't seen that much recent stuff.
Okay. Wait, maybe it's under because we have 2 links to when they change things. Let's see if we can find the all stat thing. All skill. Beasttamer is able to efficiently have 3 animal trees set up at once. And then here. Animal set up bearer mode. Cat mode are the important animal nodes for the rise patch with sources. A third animal can invest into as well. Just 11 mode and hawk mode. Unfortunately, this is where it gets a little difficult. Beasttamer's level 90 hyper skill had a much higher uptime than the ideal animal setup would likely be bear, leopard, hawk. However, due to the skill's very low uptime, the benefits of meow card results in cat meows. Ideal animal setup bear, hawk, cat. This is under the assumption that the Beasttamer player is able to 2-hit KO or 1-hit KO with defensive formation, and that the baby bomber's bug will be fixed. Oh yeah, that was the no damage applying, right? Leopard mode can be invested into instead of Hawk mode, but please note that you will lose a lot of utility that Hawk mode provides. Added with plus 5 all skill levels, it is possible to learn some skills from all 4 animal modes. The skill setup is a little tricky, so it may be a little more beneficial to run 3 animal modes as mentioned above. Yeah, so it seems that plus 5 would be a nice thing to aim for, but might be pretty end level. So how would you get plus 5? You get 1 from combat orders. 1 from the... You'd have to get the 1 from the badge, right?
And
then 2 from the hat, and... Oh, where else do you get?
Soul.
Soul, right. You can get 1 from Soul. And Soul is... That goes at the expense of relatively a little other stuff, right? So if you get 2 on the Soul, then you would only need 1 from the hat, or you get 2 from the hat and then you don't need the badge, because the badge seems like it'd be very tricky to get the Dragon War. Yeah. Oh, and does the inner-ability work for you? Because there's a there's a +1 +1 all passive skill levels inner-ability as well.
I don't think it's listed as best.
No, it's not listed. No.
So I haven't necessarily tried it myself.
Yeah, because it's specifically passive skills +1.
No. Oh, okay.
So I don't know if that means that for you that it also just only looks at the passives. But that's one of the more important ones, right? If all the passives get to share longer.
Yeah, that'd be like, I mean, at least like half, 50%. Of like all of my skills would
Alicia
be +1.
linked another guild. Hang on. For Beasttamer, the hat does, but combat order doesn't. The inner ability doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Did you link something? Don't mages need a 210 Mihal? Most mages don't, because if you have a level 2 Mihal link skill and you have a bunch of buff duration, it actually makes it 100% coverage. And you have it in your inner ability, right? So it's close enough to 100% coverage, I believe. You can check the other guy I linked. Hang on, sorry, Lincoln shit. When did you link it? I don't see anything. Can you link it again? Oh, the one I linked. Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at these. Yeah, this is old. For players that are training Beasttamer for its Legion, effect, or link. Yeah, I don't care. Node setup. Are you pretty confident with the node setup and the matrix and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have the perfect try node that it asks for because I don't have Fishy Slap, but I figured for bossing, it's not a big deal.
You don't need that many boost nodes, right?
Well, for if I'm bossing, I only need Bear, which I would only need the Furious Swipes and Low Fort.
Yeah, and the Fishy Slap is kind of like a min-max to round it out, I guess.
Yeah, but and then the second, you can go a second one if you go Leopard, or sometimes they actually say Bird for baby bombers and.
Yeah, so they'll depend on which one you're more speccing into, and then if for late game and end game you end up being able to move into all 4. If you have the +5 skill levels, then you can maybe even add like a third trio, but then you won't use them all at once, right? You'll just swap out and be like, okay, yeah. I'm in bird form in this map. You just switch out 2 bird nodes with 2 leopard modes and then done. Okay. Yeah. And you never boost anything for the cat because it's still dog shit, even if it's absolutely maxed.
No damage for the cat.
There's just no. What you like shoot a heart or something through the map, right?
Yeah, you shoot your friends. You shoot other.
Oh, right, yeah, you launch them. Yeah, friend launcher, right? Yeah, that's the name. Yeah. And it does like no damage.
No damage, single target.
Oh god. Yeah. It's like,
But that's
it's like throwing balls of yarn. It's about the same damage inflicted.
yeah. I try to, but I use that for like if I'm trying to look for like drops because the cat form has extra drop rate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's true. Oh yeah. So use it like at the end when a boss is almost dead.
No.
Get some more drop rate.
Just hope my hyper is up, because then I get the drop rate too.
Oh right. Time the hyper. Yeah, nice. Okay. This is future changes. Okay. It could be made. Oh wait. Downtime. I would recommend a 16 region. Yeah, this is more like a. This is what would be cool for the class. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. But so for the hat, that would be definitely a thing to consider if you get the skill level there. But yeah, I think the one from the badge is probably too hard. I think aiming for it on your soul is probably the best value, honestly. Because you don't want crit. I mean, boss damage is a pretty small amount. IED is a small amount. You already have so much of that. It would only be magic attack or the skill level, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you can get 2 skill level, which would be like a prime line on your hat worth, that'll probably give you the best value, I'm thinking. Yeah, unless you're like, well, fuck the 4th animal, I'm just gonna do 3 and that's it. Then, if you're really not interested.
I've been playing with 3 mostly, but I mean, I think for like burst, it would be a lot better to have at least 4 or have some of 4.
Yeah, because like this guide said, like there's a lot of utility in the bird form, and then if you can use that with your hyper skill, yeah. The whistle.
Yeah, I think it's worth considering. Cat form's just a lot better for passives, because bird form is like a lot of the extra damage you get. I think it's like plus 60 attack or something, and like the crit rate is all from active buffs that don't get applied.
And you already have the 100 crit anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when they say utility though, I think they're more talking about also the flying and stuff.
Oh, the flying and the hovering.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think for that'll probably be like my sole advice, but you're using Fafnir now, so probably once you get the Abzo stuff, you can start looking for that. But make sure that you, when you're bossing and stuff, that you keep all the souls around, right? And that you save them until Magnificent Soul event, and then pop them all.
Yeah. I haven't had any luck with Magnificent Souls.
Rip. Are you doing the daily rank double S bosses to stock up?
Not daily. I do the weekly ones. So I do like Hard Magnus, and then CRA, and
Cygnus.
Cygnus.
Yeah. It's because since Vellum and Queen and Magnus are just their souls always count as double S. If you do the normal bosses daily, then you can get over a long period of time. You can get quite a lot of extra souls. So that could be something worth doing, especially if you want to specifically look for a soul buff, right? That might mean that you have to try quite a few times.
Yeah.
For people who have more outs, it's not that important. You know, if like ID or crit rate or boss damage, if everything is kind of like, it's fine. But if you have only like 1 or 2, like you probably keep the percentage magic attack if you get it, because you don't seem too jumpy about getting all 4 of the animals spec'd.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I need it. So.
Yeah, I don't know if there's gonna be other areas where the maps that you train in, where it would make way more sense maybe to move into to have access to the bird form. I'm not sure.
For actually, it would probably be more important to get the boost nodes, because to swap forms, if I really wanted to respec into like any of the other forms, that's pretty easy and cheap. It's only like 10 mil.
Sure, yeah, that's true. Yeah, and whereas having to redo the soul on your weapon is kind of yikes.
Yeah. But I would assume actually, that the +1 to all skills for the soul would be the most optimal, probably.
Wait, is it +1 or +2?
Oh,
Hang on.
+2 is double S.
Yeah, I believe. Hang on, double S. If you get like a Magnus or something. Yeah, it would be a +2. Yeah, on a double S soul. That would be pretty good.
We'll see how my soul luck is.
Yeah, you'll get it on the first one. Just whatever you ask for, make it something else than what you actually want, so that you have to like reverse psychology them, because there's like a desire meter built in, so they know what to give you to make sure that it's not what you want.
Yeah, I've noticed that in the cubing.
Oh yeah,
I
for sure.
get strength.
Yep, you're a mage, so you get strength. Someone did it yesterday. I was cubing on or a few days ago. I was cubing on the bishop, and they were like, mages get strength and the warriors get int. And I was like, ha ha ha. And then I rolled, boom, I rolled like 12% strength on my bishop. And I was like, yeah, okay, well, could you
Yeah.
if you could just go ahead and not jinx me during my session, that would be great. But you know. And then I rolled it a few more times on the same item, just 9% 4 more times before I saw intellect.
I know.
Yeah. Oh well.
See, strength a lot more than int.
Yeah, and if you're an archer, then you're rolling dex and defense all the time. And if you're a demon avenger,
those ones
so
are-
much MP lines. It's always what you don't need, but yeah. Oh well. It is how it is. Okay, link skills are looking pretty good. Is there anything you're specifically trying to add?
I think
good.
nothing in particular, but hearing you recently talk about the shade link, thinking maybe should I add that in?
Man, yeah. So, well, we were talking about like the things that you could do to give yourself a little bit more survivability in the beginning, right? And then once you get more and more, it's kind of like a double-edged blade. Because on the one hand, if you get a lot of survivability, it might make you a bit more lazy as well. You're like, oh, I don't have to dodge. I'm gonna live anyway. So you have to like kind of know yourself. There is like, is it gonna help you or is it gonna make you complacent? But it's definitely not a reliable one to do the close call. I would throw in the close call if you're doing like hard Lotus and stuff, and there's a decent chance that you die out, but it's not because you don't have enough damage, but it's because just because you die super quickly. So then, you know, all of the little things that give you more survivability will carry more value by itself, I think. But for now, I think this setup is pretty good because you do want to optimize for your burst, right? You do want to optimize for the airplane attack or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Because that basically makes your burst better than Demon Avenger. So. Although the off burst is a little bit lower, thank God, so it compensates a little bit.
Off burst is just doing nothing basically. Watching the boss fight me.
There was actually there was a Reddit post, I think, of a Beasttamer soloing hard Damien, I think. Oh, it was like Puri or something. Does that name ring a bell? It's like a Beasttamer in Reboot. I think they're 275, I believe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not.
Oh,
sure.
Pee-wee with 2 eyes at the end. If anyone in the chat can find that link, maybe you can get some information, or maybe you can just like, you know, if there's some things that we can't really figure out yet 100% after this video, maybe you can like find their YouTube channel or something and ask there. I'm sure they're more than willing to help people with Beasttamer stuff.
Okay, yeah, I'll look into that.
I need like class ambassadors, you know, like 2 or 3 people who like really know their class for every class that could just like ring up if there's a, you know, like a specific question or something, or if something changes, if there are patch notes, it'd be like, hey, how did this change everything?
Yeah.
Okay, Seth said he's gonna find it. Oh, Beasttamer Hard Damien. I think Super Derpy already found it. This was the recent one, right? Comeback 2 carried. Oh, that's a special node? Comeback 2, is that the one that gives you cooldown reduction? Do you see the link in the chat as well?
Yeah, oh yes, I got that.
Yeah, so I think they're like 275. And they had like, I don't know, like 30 seconds left at the end or something. Yeah, no, not even. Look, they do the final burst, 15, 14, 13, yeah, 14 seconds left at the end. With like the guild skills, and the guild skills had 20 seconds left at the end. Yeah. I think they're full arcane and everything. And they've got some Oz rings and stuff. I don't know if they show their... Wow, I think if they pop their guild skills before going in, they may have run out at the end. They might have other videos where they show their stats and everything, so maybe you can see some stuff there, but...
Yeah.
Oh, and there's the Reddit link. Oh yeah, then you can find their, you can message them on Reddit as well. Okay, set your familiars. Wow, you only have... So is this what you use for your setup, these two familiars?
Yeah, I have only gotten one IED familiar to farm training.
But you still have this much? Okay, I'm gonna find some IED lines on your WSE, aren't I?
Like one.
Even with one? Wow. So with one and without your Legion completely filled into it, and with still room for growth as well within your Legion characters, like the Lumi Link. And you're still at 95 visual solo. Wow, okay, that's pretty solid actually, number wise. Okay. But you know what to do familiar wise? I mean, do you have like a plan forward, or?
Try to find a second, at least 15% ID, and then not do anything for a long time.
Yeah, small healing or something could also be nice, maybe. If you're doing other boss fights.
I have a small healing. I have a continually restores HP and MP.
Okay. That's good.
And then I kick myself because I had a castle golem, but I re-rolled it.
Oh, oh, I see. Yeah, that was a big healing?
Yeah.
For party members or something?
Yeah.
Would you with a red card or what?
Yeah, right when it swapped.
Yeah, that is kind of dumb, but sorry.
It was like hopeful maybe I get something really good.
Oh yeah, it was continually restores a large amount of HP and MP to nearby allies, yeah. And then I rerolled some others. Well, I actually got a bunch of golems in the beginning because they dropped at an okay rate. I think I got like... There was a double drop session and basically everything was full, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just go familiar hunting, and then I got, I think, 8 or so castle golems when they dropped as unique, but all of them revealed into just absolute shit. I mean, one revealed increases item and meso drop rate by a large amount, but I already had spiders, so that was completely useless. And 5% abnormal status resistance, so it's like, and I guess you could use it instead of a spider, so you get stunned less on Lotus, I guess. That's about it.
But then +1 to all stat.
Yeah, that was they added the +1 all stat to all of the familiars that you had before.
Yeah.
So that one is the old one. Yeah, 95. And during the hyper, you had 99 visual, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Which is insane. And as long as that... So if that goes at the expense of some percentage attack, we definitely want to move that over, but you're not overcommitting into Legion. You probably could try with taking the ID out of your Legion and moving it into boss instead. Even though your boss is already pretty nice and high. Or it'll be min-maxing your stuff and going into more attack, but we'll see that right now, I believe. Let me just check my cheat sheet real quick. I mean, I assume you understand ID, functional, visual, all of the calculations and everything, right?
Yeah. I do have a hard time using the online calculators, but I get there eventually.
Is it are you using the simplified one? That's the one that I usually
yeah.
Usually
I think
use.
so.
The one with the orange and the blue numbers, the dark one.
Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't come up to where what my visual is, I think, usually. But...
Have you checked this? to see if you can make sure that you're not missing any sources. There's listed here like all of the possible sources. So as long as you go through this systematically, you should be able to not miss anything.
Oh. Yeah, no. I haven't gone through this list.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, I forgot about passive hyper skills.
Yeah, that should go. Passive hyper should go on top of the visual, but you should at least be able to get the visual, but it should always be a little bit higher, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think
it should never be lower, so that means that there's something it's like slipping through.
Oh. Did see in chat there's like a bug with boost nodes are real ID. I don't know.
My buff message about the BT bug. Their boost node give them real ID instead of just for their skills. And is that why it gives you a 20% for every single skill stacked together? Is that why it ends up being so high? So if you just throw in like 6 boost nodes and just level them, you can get to like 100% pretty much. That would actually be that'd be better value than getting any kind of ID line in your WSE, right? Then you just go full magic attack and just apply 2 extra boost nodes, even for skills that you might not even use. Wait, can you try that? Can you unequip your boost nodes and see if your visual ID goes down?
Yeah, I can. No, my visual stays the same.
Oh, wow, okay. I was kind of hoping that we found the explanation, but okay. Go full master and turn your matrix into a dungeon? Okay, so chill. Okay, so that's all. Yeah, okay, I was checking the cheat sheet. That's what we were checking. Okay, transposing matrix familiars. Yeah, if we kind of went through that. I guess if you start training higher levels, then you can, then you can bring back the familiars and start thinking about bigger well, probably not bigger chunks of ID, probably chunks of boss damage, maybe good healing, high drop rate, those kind of things.
Yeah. Just slowly as I level up my Legion, I'm trying to collect all the cards and just put it on my Beasttamer. See what I get.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm thinking like all skill level requirement +5 hat soul weapon, and then boost give real ID. Just some specific questions that I don't know the answers to. It's probably good to make a little list to ask some Beasttamers later. They might have heard something through the grapevine or something. Okay. I guess we get to the equips themselves then already. Okay, so we can see what kind of gains can we help you make in short term to make it so that you can get to Lotus and Damien more easily. So set wise, so stuff on the right side is your drop rate stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Drop all Titans. Okay. And wait, do you have some overlap stuff?
No, I'm at like 80% drop, 60% meso.
Okay.
So I need 2 more rings. So one of them's gonna be the awake ring eventually.
Yeah.
And
And the other one's gonna
I
get
did
booted.
just get my reinforced ring, so one of my other rings probably will cycle out.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Alright, okay. Ah, that's where the boss damage is. Okay. I thought there was going to be at least one line of boss damage, or possibly two, because you have so much. That's the secondary makes sense. Master ring stays unique. Pendant stays unique. 18. Master treasure. So you're planning on how many items do you have lined up for 17 starring here? 1, 2.
Quite a few.
3, and then 4, and the pendant will go to 16, right?
Yeah. Although I'm not why do you go to 16 for the pendant?
They've basically tried at all the different numbers for when you transpose, and when you transpose at 16, that's when you get the best end results for star forcing, basically. It does something weird where it transfers some extra bonus stats that are stuck to the item. They transfer those with the item. When it loses a star, it doesn't lose the full stats for that star. If you go too far, then you lose out on the bonus of how much you would get if you star force on a higher level item, which would be the sweet water. And if you go too low, then you don't get anything at all. So 16 is found as like the sweet spot. It's the best time to do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird system, so people just had to like trial and error their way through it to see if there was anything better, but yeah. And then the reinforced ring, I guess. Oh yeah, the one down here, yeah. I don't know how much money you're working with right now.
Not that much.
Not that much? Okay.
Yeah. I should be trading more, but I'm not. I do have a Kana that has like, is that like 220 with 100% meso with no drop.
Mm-hmm.
So I can sometimes use that to get some meso.
Okay. Does it have the old familiars or no?
Yeah, as a spider.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you probably still want to try to get at least one extra line of drop, just to make sure that you get the full chance for bags. Because I think with just a spider, I think you're a little bit short.
I think I have the inner ability is 20%.
Oh,
drop.
yeah, that should cover it. Yeah, okay. And then like a 5% meso obtain as well, something like that.
I think I have yeah, something like that. Some meso on my inner ability.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm a big fan of inner abilities like that. I've been rocking this one for a long time. Got the 19 meso 15 drop on my arc still. As long as you don't have to rely on your inner ability for the damage and you can get it somewhere else, I do like that utility. It just makes it adds extra value when you're training. It just feels a little bit better. You know, the main goal is never to make a lot of money or get a lot of drops, but it does kind of keep you going. If you don't see a droplet forever, it just, you know, even though you're doing it mainly for the experience, it does kind of get demoralizing if you don't see anything else increasing with it.
Yeah, I used to have a 20% drop on my Beasttamer, but when I was transitioning to Lotus and Damien, I was like, when I was transitioning to Lotus, I was dying out kind of a lot, and I thought maybe a 20% boss line would help.
So you just went up and got it.
Yeah, during one of the honor events.
Rerolls, yeah. No, it makes sense if you're soloing, because then you need to rely on your own damage way more, right? You can't just be like, okay, we'll do this as a party and then get all the gear, and then with the Abzo, then you can solo it later. Stuff like that. That makes it a lot easier, because the set bonus obviously for Abzo is really good, and the stats on the equips are huge. So the items that I wouldn't go 17, so you can go 17 on items that you're not going to keep, like the glove, for example, because you can just transfer over the progress, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have any. You have progress for the weeklies for Scrapyard and Dark World Tree, but not for the clears themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. I should do more of them though. I kind of.
It's costly. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, best thing you could do is just do the maths and then be like, okay, I have to do at least this many, so you kind of have a goal to work towards.
Yeah, and at least now I can do it on both my. I can do it on both my Beasttamer and my Kana.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll help out.
For Kana, sometimes it's also easier to find someone to exchange, right?
Yeah.
You can help each other out. You Kishin them, they Kishin you. Speed it up for both. You don't have to use a totem on the weeklies, because that's always it's never a fun thing. Yeah, because if you can get the gloves like the 16, transfer hammer over to the 150 glove, get it back to 16, transfer over into the 160 glove, get it to 16 again, and then transfer to like safeguard to 17, and then you have 17-star Abzos, right? So for gloves, for example, that would be what?
Well, actually, I have I have everything prepped for Abso that at 15.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I didn't put that in the, but I have the root gloves, shoes, the cape.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else. Oh, shoulder. I have the shoulder.
Shoulder and you'll have the weapon that you're already using. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I have a second weapon.
You got a second weapon? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's parts already prepped. So you're just getting that to 16, and then so you can get it to 16 easily. But then if you don't have the Abzo items, are you just gonna wait at 16 and then wait for another 5 to 15, or are you gonna try to get them to 18 and then transfer over? But then you have risk of boom.
The plan was probably 16 transfer, wait for another 5, 10, 15.
Right, yeah, but like transfer somewhere in between the two events whenever you get it when you get it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then just sit on 15 Abzo for a little bit, but then you could work on the flames, you can work on the potential. Yeah. And then then 15 to 17. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I have been holding on to these 15-star items since the last no boom, so.
Okay, that's been a while. Okay. Yeah, I kind of want to check if you would switch your, because I'm pretty sure you can get away with just not having the your ID functionally should probably be pretty close to 97 or something right now, and I believe if you roll out of your emblem ID that you should be perfectly fine. But we should probably check that in the calculator, right?
I guess I could also, if I rolled out of emblem, I could invest more in Legion.
Yeah, that would yeah, because between that and you still have a second familiar to get as well.
Yeah.
That should more than pick up the slack.
Hopefully.
This picture. What do you think of this drawing? You like it?
Yeah, it's a good drawing.
It's good, right? It's very true.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Where's the other thing I had? Oh, this one. Because you have this one at 15. This one is gone. You have the Fuff weapon is 10, right?
Yeah.
The hat, the top, the bottom. Ambition is maxed, I believe.
Yes.
Using a card. Blaster is rank S.
Yes.
So that's is that 3%?
I think it's 3%.
I think 3. Chat said 3. I believe 3.
Yeah.
Superior Golic set, Monster Park Medal, you have that. So what if you put Legion at 40? Enhancement Notes 20. Those are things that are in here. Yeah, so that's basically what we're trying to do, right? Trying to get 40 in IED, and then see if we can get all the other stuff done. So right now, what you have is you have emblem potential is an extra 30, and then set bonuses. Do you have other set bonuses that give you IED? Any boss accessory set or?
No. No. Yeah.
Whoa, what is this zoom? This one is the one I wanted. No other ID. You have... Wait, you have the... you have at least 3 set for the boss accessory, right?
Yeah.
But
But
that's
it's
just
not no ID.
Yeah, it's just all stat and a little bit of weapon and magic attack, I believe.
Hmm.
And the set bonus for the totems is just attack and all stat.
Yeah, it's just magic attack.
Just magic attack. Okay. Okay. Ingrid bonus, each member bonus. What do you get from link skills? Is it only the Lumi? You don't have the Hoyoung or the Zero,
so.
right?
No.
You have the Explorer Mage.
Yeah, I do.
So that gives you 9. And then do you have any ID in your passive hyper skills?
Not for furious swipes.
And that's your main. That's like what all your damage comes from. And do any of your skills have ID in them?
Yeah, I have a 30% in a passive.
Is that on a 5th job skill or what?
No, it's a regular skill.
Oh, okay.
A bear skill.
And is that one you use quite a bit or no?
It's a passive, so it's always active if I'm in bear.
Oh, in bear. Okay, that gives you what, 30?
30%. Yeah. And then I have so actually in the stat it's my single target skill stats too. So I have a
right, you have
skill
like
that makes me only hit 1.
But it doesn't make you hit 1, right?
It does only let me hit 1.
Isn't there? Oh, wasn't there a skill? Oh, maybe they fixed that. Maybe was it different in the past where you can use that skill, but you could just still hit everything?
Yeah, it only lets you hit 1 thing now.
Okay, okay. And
So
what does that
That
add?
one gives me 20% ID.
Okay. Wonder if they're gonna try to change that one as well. You know, because they're changing all the other single target skills, right, in KMS.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so for Mihail, Battle Mage, and Hero, they're making it so that instead of it hitting one monster, you hit 1/3 of the targets instead. Unless a skill specifically hits only one target itself. So, yeah, so the mode is going to change a little bit. But I wonder, I mean, by the time they make that a thing for Beasttamer as well, we're probably like 2 years further down the road, I guess.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those things that was like, oh, wait, that was a thing? Oh, let's... Okay, let's...
We'll have a legacy skill.
yeah, for like many years, and then one update without announcement, suddenly it'll be changed. You'll be like, oh, okay, I guess they fixed it or changed it.
Yeah.
Do you have any other debuffs on the boss that you can apply?
No, I don't think so.
When you're bossing, the only thing you see like above the boss head is just the mage book from the explorer.
Yeah.
Do you have any ID from titles?
No, I don't have any active titles.
Okay. Event buffs. There must still be something, yeah. Cause, and your hyperstats are at 10, right? Or was it at 11?
10. Well, actually, my stats right now, I'm looking, are at 94%.
Wait, are the hyperstats not even in here? Oh my god, hyperstats aren't even in here. What the fuck? Those are huge.
Oh, never mind. I got it too.
And then, so you have 94 visual now.
Yeah.
But
I think... No, never mind.
If you remove the... And that's with the bear passive and the bear single target on?
Yeah.
So if we remove the explorer mage and the Huntsman nodes, this is what you should have, 94.65. So that's possible, right?
Removing the... Which one was it again?
So I take the explorer mage and the boost nodes out of it because those are the ones you can't see. So I believe that the only ones we have left now are the ones that you can see. And that puts me at 94.65.
Yeah.
So that means that functionally you're at 96.58, and then if you add the whistle, you go way over. So if you would remove the 30% IED line from your well, actually, this is with more in IED than you currently have, so you might still be missing something. Fuck.
Well, actually, I'm at 90. If I use my familiar, forgot to turn on my familiar.
Right, we forgot the familiars.
Yeah.
So let's say we got familiar 1 gives you 15, and then familiar 2 gives you 15, and then we remove the 30% from your emblem. You're still at 96.5 functional. So you're more than good to reroll your emblem, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no doubt about it. You could even use some crazy, like sparkling IED potions or something, or craft them with alchemy if you want to go like super overboard. But like IED wise, you're super safe. So that will probably be like potential wise. That'll probably be the main thing that we're gonna work on, I would say. And then once that one is at least 2-line magic attack, then it's gonna be time to move a bunch of stuff up to unique. Basically.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good to know the order. So I should get that to then go to unique.
Yeah, yeah. And I would keep your CRA stuff at unique probably for a while until you're done getting your Abzo stuff and getting that to legendary and a good flame. Because the CRA items get a lot of bad lines once you go to legendary, but unique is actually pretty good to roll high percentages. Should be more than doable to roll 15 or maybe even 21% on so with Master Craftsman instead of using red or black cubes.
Okay.
Yeah, because you want to focus more and more then on flaming and potentialing on the Abzo, because the Abzo is a higher tier, right? So with the same kind of outcome, you get 2% more, so more value there. And for the glove, you want to roll with black cubes for critical damage, hopefully double line critical damage, but at least like a line of intellect plus a line of critical damage. That'll be a huge damage increase. And then the weapon, flame, is going to be super important. And the full at least 2 lines magic attack, at least getting to 23% on that. Those are going to be very important.
Okay, yeah. 2-line.
Yes, for sure, for sure. And then it's about the point, I guess, after that would be like the next 5, 10, 15 probably to get all your Abzo to 17. And then the finalizing... then you can start drawing everything up to legendary, I guess. Hopefully you get a better heart by then.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you don't want to have to invest in Lithium Heart. It's so depressing. Like, yay, legendary 6%. Oof. Not great.
I was waiting for the heart from this one, but yeah, it didn't come out.
Yeah, it didn't come out. Yeah, I would keep like the shoes and the cape are like fine that you invest something into it because you're doing solo progression, so that makes total sense. But it's definitely just hold on to this until Abzo. That's already done. You've prepped the other ones to 15. That's great. I guess the one thing that would come in after that would be probably your secondary, to try to it is like a prime line boss and a regular boss, but at that point, have you ever worked with the weapon secondary emblem optimizer? Have you worked with that?
I tried but I couldn't figure out the IED calculator, so I didn't know what to punch in for that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you do need that as an input. Yeah. So once you're more done with the Legion, that's kind of settled. Maybe the Lumi link is a little bit higher, you know, and you moved everything over. Maybe you start, because once you get closer to 8K, you can fill out completely in critical damage and IED and boss damage, and you'll even have some more space to put stuff in the middle. So at that point, maybe you can even take a little bit of buff duration because you won't need any of the crit, right? So
yeah.
that might even be good. And then, so you don't have any base magic attack, so you'll probably be stuck on just 4 from your Echo, I believe. And then your IED, I mean, if that's any... You basically want to optimize your IED for when you're doing most of your damage. How much of a % of your damage do you do during your burst versus like off burst?
Like almost 100%, because if I'm not burst, I'm like dealing no damage and being sad.
Which almost means that it's fine to aim lower than to maybe be stuck at like 90% functional IED or something, if that's even possible to go that low, I don't even know, off of burst, because then none of your damage is being applied. But then once the whistle goes off and you get all the passives, if that gives you a functional IED of like 98 or 99, then it doesn't matter how low you are off, right? Because disproportionately, that's when you're dealing all your damage. So that's almost what you want to optimize for. So I'm pretty sure that you're going to be at least at 98, right? Because we're going to go a little bit lower than what you are now, but you're going to get the other sources by. It's going to be at least 98, but maybe like 98.5 or something. Your damage percentage is... So we want to take the damage percentage without the weapon secondary and emblem right now.
Yeah.
And you have 70 on your secondary, right?
Secondary. Yeah. Wait, secondary. I have 70 on boss damage, yeah.
Yeah, 70 boss damage, yeah. And then here your total is... So 70 here, so 219 is a 4, carry the 1. 455? So 455. So that's actually pretty close to this. What would you gain? Maybe 5% more from the Demon Slayer? 5% more if you do the Arc? Because that's also not stacked in that picture, right? I believe.
Oh yeah, no, it's not stacked.
That's 16 extra, and then Kadena is another 12. So that's 28. And then DA is another 5. So that's another 33. Anything else I'm missing? You have your current boss damage already in. Oh, extra 9% from the Explorers, right?
Yeah, 9%.
That's a little high. 5,020. And then what will realistically give you more percentage damage? Well, you're going to be leveling. That gives you a little bit of damage as well, right?
Yeah.
So you're going to be optimizing for like when you're level 250. So that's 13 more levels. And we get 2% per level, right? Or is it 1% every 2 levels? 1% every 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like 7 more because you're an uneven number. So that's how 9. So roughly this.
And then actually, I think I have 10% magic base percent attack.
Oh, you do? Okay.
From a passive.
Oh, like way beginner passive?
From my bear mode.
Dude, that bear mode boosts so hard. Gets your ripples. Yeah, so it's looking like you don't need any IED, right? It's only... Oh, this is actually kind of interesting. So 7 and 2 is actually really close to the high up. You see that? 8-1, 7-2, and 9 and 0 are actually all very close. What all of these options will have, if you click them, I can already tell you, is that they're all gonna tell you to get 3-line attack on your weapon, right? That's all. That would be the most optimal because it's 1 tier higher. and the boss damage is the same. So what they want is emblem and weapon full attack, and then a line on boss. But you already see that if you have 2 line on your secondary, if you can get main attack on the other ones, and that's really close in your final damage multiplier. And then full attack is also really close. 8 and 1, so even if you get... Yeah. Okay, but that does kind of close off your options because your ID is so good. That means that only boss and magic attack are actually acceptable at this point. But 2 is not necessarily worse. So if you do the emblem first, you go for as much attack there as possible. If your weapon ends up with a line of boss and 2 lines of magic attack, that means you definitely have to redo your secondary, right? Because then you're at 3 boss, then you're over. I don't know how far down we have to go for like the first 3 boss. It's probably not super far down. No, it's here. So it's still kind of close. It's still kind of close. You could decide like, oh, maybe I'll use black cubes or something, right? Because rolling out a 70 boss suddenly, that's going to be a big difference.
Yeah.
So if you so this is also, I would say this is definitely acceptable as well. Like this is 80% increase versus having nothing versus 82. That's 2% difference on 100. So you go from 180% to 182%. That's like, yeah, that's 2% difference. That's almost half. So it's like a little bit more than 1% final damage. I don't know how much money you're willing to spend for that. So yeah, if you get like max attack on your emblem and even one line of boss on your weapon, yeah, you could later, but then it would be much later, you know, depending on how quickly you get that. You could decide to like black cube your secondary to see if you can get another line of magic attack in there, maybe like 30, 30, and 9 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That would already be really good. Or if you would roll into 2 lines and a line of boss, that would also be really good because then you basically end up in this situation. So a lot of outs there, but definitely IED is like completely locked in, and yeah. You see the first lines of ID come in here, but you see that the percentage is quite a bit lower here. Here it becomes significant once you have the ID in. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so okay. So because most of my damage is in my burst, and my whistle gives me a lot of ID, then it's fine to roll out of ID.
Well, yeah, we didn't even account for that really. If you did that, because I think you're at like 99 point something. If you really min max for your burst, then the first one comes in here, and it's 74 versus the 82. So then it's even lower value. It's still kind of close. It's like a total overall of 4% final damage when you have everything min maxed. That's still not like the end of the world, of course. But as things stand, there's definitely the biggest gains to be made on the emblem now, for sure.
Okay, so I guess that's the first thing I should change. Try to get.
Yeah, just make sure you have enough money to, you know, get all the 5, 10, 15 stuff done, right? That's definitely higher priority. Make sure they get all that to 16. Then you can, then the emblem. Then once you get the Abzo, if you transfer over, then you can start working on that potential. And the flames. Until you have that, you can work on getting your all your stuff up to unique. Try to get at least 2 line intellect, maybe 3 if you're lucky. And then don't forget those 2 extra rings, right? So you can make some more money while you're training. It's always nice. 1 extra familiar for ID. And then probably gonna have to spend a little bit of money flaming your Abzo stuff, probably, but mainly your weapon. Like that's the one that if you're gonna spend money on flames for anything, then you maybe need your weapon. Do you know what you're aiming for on the weapon?
The flame?
Yeah.
Tier 6.
Yeah, initially like tier 6, right? Yeah, and then if you can get anything on top of that, that would be great.
Hopefully tier 6 plus.
Yeah, let's hope for. What is it, like Abzo Lab Scepter? You know how long it took me to hear from someone that, why aren't you using a shield on your Beasttamer? Like, wait, you can use shields. I thought it was, I mean, you get the special whistle, so I was like, oh damn, I guess I have to use this whistle, but.
Yeah, you would think the whistle would be the thing, but you get this cool secondary. And
it's like, nope.
Not any better than the shield.
It has some okay base stats, but yeah, no, the shield is just sexier, I guess. So tier 6 is 97. Oh, that's like the same as the fan, I guess. Is it Abslab fan? Is that a thing? No. Fuck. Oh, summoner. Right. Yeah, that's also 241. Yeah. Yeah, tier 6 would be 97 attack. That's pretty nice if you can hit that. Cool. Well, I'm glad you got the prep done already. That's it's always good to hear. Someone's like on the ball.
Well, I was actually hoping to get Absolab a longer time ago, but
yeah, so that you could use the 5, 10, 15 to make the switch already and end up with 17 Abzo, I assume.
Yeah, but that didn't happen.
It didn't happen, yeah. You know, things happen. But yeah, so if you I don't know if you need more specific advice later, maybe with Lotus and Damien, if you're getting stuck on something, then you can always, you know, let me know.
Yeah.
Maybe look at a run on stream or something if you record it and kind of see what you could move around. Oh yeah, one thing I didn't mention for Lotus is that if you're at platforms and you kind of can choose between, you know, waiting longer or going for the platform immediately because he's just like right on top of it anyway, and you can't really get him to go away. There's the I don't know if you heard me talk about this already, but there's like a minimal. He has like a certain range, right? And as soon as you're in range, he will start attacking you. So you kind of want to bait out his attacks more strategically, so he doesn't get to push you. But I think with the bird mode and being able to fly over the attacks, that should be enough. I think to. Yeah, of course you don't want to get knocked to the side, but do you have 100% uptime on the Mihal link?
I don't use the Mihal link.
Ah, true. We didn't see it.
I'm at 100% knockback.
That's in Bear, right? Bear is 100?
Yeah.
And then for the other stages, you're just smashing through the map so quickly that you don't really care.
Yeah, that's why my hyper stats I have like 2 to 3 points in knockback because Bear gets you to like 97 or something.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, and 3 points in hyperstat costs absolutely nothing, so might as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess during the 50% off inner ability, you can like spray and pray for the last line of your inner ability and see if you get anything useful there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I'm like magic attack. Pretty much.
You know what you're gonna get? I can already tell you what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a 20% crit rate line. That's what you're gonna get. Because it's completely useless for you, and it's super hard to get on anyone else.
Yeah. I'm never sure if I should switch to +1 attack speed either, because it says that it's theoretically better, but the damage numbers are lower. I don't know.
Is it a difference also between which animal form you might use, or?
I think the one we looked at, that Reddit post said like you can get to 0, but the damage goes down for some reason.
Oh, that is wow. That sounds very Nexon. Attack speed. Attack speed is the preferred line, but currently it's bugged with Furious Strikes. When the Beasttamer goes from 1 to 0, the increased attack speed actually decreases your damage of Furious Strike. The damage isn't decreased by too much, but it is decreased. Not too sure if this was fixed with the patch. However, sorry, if this bug is fixed, then attack speed will be the line to go for. Well, that might be another question for the list then. Maybe someone has picked up on that. Attack speed +1 fixed for Furious Swipes. Alright. I can see if I can find some Beasttamers and ask, or... Yeah, I don't know who... Do you want to reach out to someone? Because if we reach out to the same people and get the same questions, it's going to be a little bit awkward.
I don't know. Maybe... Well, I don't know any Beasttamers other than the one linked.
Oh, Nate says it's still bugged. Well, there you go. Have you tested it, or have you talked to some Beasttamers, Nate? You know that they have confirmed that it's not Beastamer Mule here, and I haven't noticed a decrease. Oh. Still bugged. Okay. So wait, if I do control for IED. Did you play during the passive stacking?
Yeah, that's when I came back during the Goblin event.
Yeah, the Goblin Market with all the shops and everything.
Yeah, so that's how I got to 200, whatever. And then I cleared I cleared CRA the first time right before they got rid of passive stacking. So that gave me like a boost enough to be able to solo CRA after it, I think.
Okay.
That was nice. Passive stacking was nice.
Finally, the class felt like good, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
It was so much critical damage though. Like I was in the Panther form, like running around with 130% crit damage or something. I was like, what the? It was broken.
And then the passive stack doesn't show up in your stat window, and it's like,
I think
it's a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's the time that I did Monster Park, and it was actually really fun to like blow through Monster Park super fast, go zoom. But then yeah, that fairy tale got killed early.
They had to fix that bug, but they couldn't fix.
Yeah, meanwhile Jet was like a broken mess the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you lost like 90 magic attack from the Hawk mode buffs. Oof.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. You tested it in Lotus. I see. Wait, maybe Nate can answer the other questions. Nate, do you know about the what the meta is when it comes to getting skill levels, like higher skill level plus? Is that a meme, or do people actually go for that so they can access the bird form as well, and like use all four? Because you can go for what is it? Hat, soul weapon, familiar badge, DCO.
Badge of crazy.
Wouldn't the soul weapon is not a must, but oh. Yeah, so like getting 2 lines, a line of +2 on the hat would be considered really good, right? That's what I assumed. Because the chance of getting 3-line intellect is super low anyway, so it just gives you another out for, or even 1 level. But I think isn't it for the weapon still really good, because it's only going at the expense max of 3% magic attack, and then all the other ones are all horrible, right? You had us +2 and 21. Yeah, that would be like ideal setup, I think. But like for the weapon, the only other good one would be percentage magic attack. I would say get the hat and weapon. Okay, so aim for like 3 or 4. If you get 1 or 2 on the hat. And then maybe super long term, if you're really crazy, you go for the badge to like round it out. Well, the decent combat orders will give you 1 already as well, right? So if you get 2 in the hat, 2 in the weapon, and decent combat orders, then you're done as well. That's like the +5. I guess that makes sense, because the familiar badge would be... You need to get Dragon War. I mean, if you do a booster pack every day, and then that's pretty much the best you can do. Because I wouldn't even do the PQ, because half of them you still DC probably, right? It's never functioned properly since it's been out. I think that's why they got rid of the sub bonus as well, because so that people wouldn't be forced to go through a broken PQ. Okay, so hat weapon. Okay, that makes sense. Hat weapon and then decent combat orders. And then... Yeah. And have you heard anything, Nate, about like the boost nodes and the IED percentage or something that it shows up I read something about the ID here, but it was like the temporary bug, I think, that all the passives stacked, and some of those give IED, so that people's ID was higher. But somebody was saying something that there was a bug where boost nodes gave actual IED rather than for the skill specifically, but when he unequipped, right? You unequipped the boost nodes, but your visual IED didn't go down, so I'm wondering what that, if that's just like a rumor or... I don't know anything about that. Okay. Yeah, you just doing anything, yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that could be the the one question for that PvE person. If you care enough about the answer, I guess. But I mean, it seems we still have to deal with the number. I mean, I'm hoping that the visual numbers that show up are the ones that you know we can rely on, and that it's not. Yeah, I mean, but like when the damage was being dealt with your bird skill and then it didn't actually apply, you know, there's definitely some stuff.
Knows?
Yeah, who knows ultimately. Not too crazy. Oh, I think, wait, 26. Oh, you were pretty similar here then. Aren't you around the same level too? 237? Aren't you like 235 or something?
236, I think. I put it wrong.
Ooh, lied. It's okay. It's okay. I'll put it. Oh, you're 235. Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, you guys are around the same point. Yeah. Let's see who can solo Lotus and Damien first, Nate or you?
Well, 26k, that's a lot higher than me.
Well, I mean, you're 24.5.
Fully buffed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Dude, once you get the extra line of magic attack, though, it's gonna be good. I think he already has most of the Abzo, though, so you still have that to grow into. And some, quite a few epic items that can go into unique. They'll be good gains. Alright, did we miss anything, or do you have any remaining questions?
I was thinking about the Meister ring. I have...
Mm-hmm.
I'm limited on the high density mana crystal things.
The Grand Spell essences or the Twisted
Yeah.
Tongue?
Grand spell.
Grand Spell? Yeah, the black spell crystals, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I have 7 primals. I just have no grand spell essences. So
Like none?
I wasn't sure if I should craft. I have like 250, which is like 1.5.
Yeah, it's like 1, yeah.
So
Have you scoured like all of your characters to see if you have a few on all of them?
yeah, I did.
Okay.
I transferred all of them just to see.
You get primals from just playing longer and doing enough arcs and harvesting, but then you can only get a lot of grand spell essences from actually killing a lot of monsters and just training. So if your character is pretty old but you haven't really grinded up to a high level yet, then this is normal, basically, that you end up with way more primals than you end up with grand spell essences. It also kind of depends on how early or how late you get drop rate gear, because the primals, in the beginning it's like 50-50 between plants and arc, and then as you get more drop rate gear you get more of a chance from arc, so it shifts a little bit in that direction. But if you don't have enough drop rate gear early on and maybe don't have the drop spider, then you will see way fewer grand spell essences until you're much further into the game. So you kind of have like a false start. That's why you have that switch between the two. So it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, yeah, tiering it up to 12 if you could just make, or to Meister. I mean, if you can only make one ring, at the point you gotta wonder like, what does that one ring really bring? Nice, good rhymes. Because you'll end up with Reinforced Superior Meister Arcana Treasure?
Yeah, would be the damage set, probably.
You have at least like a 21% Master SS already. So I think you can end up spending quite a lot of money getting a 17-star Meister and then get it to Legendary and then kind of roll the same potential as your Arcana Treasure. But I think that will be roughly as good as what you already have. So I would probably only try to go for Meister once you can make at least 3 or 4. and once you're already aiming on going past 17.
Okay. Okay.
Before that, I don't think it's not enough of an upgrade to warrant the time investment and the financial investment.
And my reinforce, I was planning on waiting for that 17 star scroll.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that actually. Yeah, now that you mention it, yeah. It seems like a good either this or one of the Abzo stuff. But if you already have the other stuff pre-made, it makes more sense to go for this. You don't have to safeguard, and it's pretty high level. It's 140, so that saves you a lot of money for sure.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you have any great source for the 15-star one. Because there's one in the shop, right? We're probably just not gonna buy that one, I guess.
If I got the Meister, that would have been the plan to use the 15-star scroll on it.
Yeah, use the 15 and then 5, 10, 15 it to 16.
Yeah, but I also figured because I only have enough Grand Spell Essence for 1, I think if I had enough for 2, I might have done it.
Mm-hmm. You can see if you can push it a little bit past, maybe.
Yeah, but because I only have enough for 1, I figured it's not worth the stress of trying to get to Meister.
Yeah, and then if you boom it, it feels like, especially if you're not like drowning in money, but you still have plenty of things to be investing in, there are different priorities. And then if you do end up booming it, it's just gonna feel really bad.
Yeah.
And there's definitely, depending on how far you push it, there's a very solid chance that you do. And then you're just looking at that trace every time you open up your inventory. It's like that might not be like an evil you want in your life.
Make me more sad.
Yeah, even more sad every time you log in. You're like, oh, that bad decision.
Yeah. Okay. So.
I hope we get Dark Lords of Darkness soon. Then you can jump on that.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I did that. I did it once on my other character, but yeah, I would like it on this character.
Yeah, I skipped the Beasttamer most because you couldn't share the items, right? So it was lower efficiency.
Yeah.
With the other characters, you just share it around, and then you get like 16 batches worth for doing it one time. But then, you know, you know about the transferring, right? Through Cash Up.
That it only works for the same type of classes?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But you can transfer the items once you've like upgraded them. You could transfer to other characters and then instantly complete the quest.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So the items work 24 hours, and you just need the items in your inventory to complete it and to get the racks. So what you can do is, if you do it like in the middle of the day, of the day UTC, right? You complete it, you get it on your character, and then you switch it to all the other characters that share Cash Up, and you just auto-complete them there. And then after reset, you just do it again, but like reverse. And that way you have to do it one time every 2 days per Cash Up inventory instead of every single day on every character. That way you can get a lot more mileage out of it. So you do it on like one Explorer, you get like 30 times the value for doing it once by just transferring around. And yeah, you probably crash a few times that you have to relog, but it's way more value than doing it on every character.
Oh, okay. And that's for Dark Lords of Darkness?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I kind of neglected the that's why I neglected the Beasttamer, because that one is just itself, you know, and like Kinesis, those would kind of get neglected. But then all the other characters, you know, if I had like a little bit of time, I'd be like, okay, well, I can do this for 8 characters, so you know.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's nice and convenient.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I have Dark Lords. I don't know if that's still yeah, there you go. I still have a YouTube video on that as well that kind of explains the whole thing for the people in the chat who are wondering. Shares Cash Up, CS transfer. That's a full list of who shares Cash Up. Although I think 0 is not on there, so I should update that. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, is there any other questions you had?
So basically upgrade my emblem first to try and get 2-line attack for now.
Mm-hmm.
Get everything to 17 other than the one of my pendants to 16.
Yep. And I wouldn't go for 17 on the glove on the shoulder that you have now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Scroll on the
try
ring.
to get Absolab.
Yep. Focus on flames and potential there. Mainly the flame on the weapon, and then slowly the flames on the other things. Potential on the weapon. Important.
Once I get Absolab, everything to legendary.
Yeah. Mainly the weapon, and then the glove for the critical damage, and then the other ones. Kind of that order.
Yeah, and then once that's all legendary, work on CRA.
Yep. Bring all your epic. Bring all the epic stuff up to unique. And things like the belt, and I think a pendant. Yeah. These guys as well. I guess the belt and the pendant can push straight through the legendary, because at unique you won't gain that much. But for the CRA, yeah, it'll be disproportionately expensive, and you want to spend more on the Abzo.
Okay, and then work on my secondary. Yep. Adjusting that to whatever.
Yeah, depending on how good the weapon turns out, then adjusting the secondary, basically. Yeah.
Okay, hopefully I can get a fast emblem.
Hope so.
Line.
Yeah, easy 3-lane. Let's go. Make sure you ask for attack, okay, so that you get magic attack.
Oh yes. Let's see. And I don't know. Should I invest in more item drop rate than Meso?
I'd start with the 5-4 first. Yeah, hopefully you get something with double line before then, but I mean you're already at 2 items left, so not likely, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't gotten any double lines. So.
Until you like luck into double lines, I think it's fine what you have now.
Okay.
Hopefully the biggest addition could be that you once you start leveling a higher level area and you can start using the familiars and everything, that you can get to an epic or a unique familiar with a nice drop line, and then that will help you a lot.
Yeah. Well, I guess for familiars, is it like better to keep? I've been just extracting most of them from all the ones I've gotten, but is it better to like keep the common ones like Drake's, because I'm there kind of a lot for leveling? Is it better to keep them to fuse?
So when you when you fuse, you have to throw them all. They have to be the same type of familiar that you throw on top of each other, right? Kind of like a arcane symbol.
Yeah.
So unless you can have really a lot of one, if it's common, I would just open them up to try to find your 15% IED. If you have one rare at least, then you can. Like I would never fuse a common up to a rare and then go the whole way. I would always start at least with a rare to start fusing up. And I don't know if Drakes drop rares. Do you have any of those?
I got rid of all of mine. I think there was a rare. I don't know. Maybe not.
It's could be possible, but I guess I haven't been there long enough. But I skipped through that whole area. Drakes do drop rares? Okay. Yeah, if you have like a bunch of commons and at least one rare, then you can use that to fuse up. But the thing is, if you fail to fuse and you're stuck with like a half one and you can't get it back up to being able to fuse, then all of those cards are kind of pooped. And then instead, if you extracted all of them for points and gotten a booster pack, you could have gotten maybe like, I don't know, maybe like Dragon War or a Manon or a Griffey or something, right? And that could get you to the skill +1, something like that. So those are kind of Hail Marys, but I think up until you get to actually train with your main in a spot where you have a decent amount of drop rate on the character and you can reliably kill and just get hundreds of familiars in sessions, until then I think it's mostly just like reveal, see if it's something useful, and if you have all the things that you want that are useful, you know, at least something with drop rate, something with healing, and 2 IED ones. If you have at least that, then I would just extract all the other ones and just get points for the booster packs and maybe for extra summon gauge energy.
Oh, okay.
Or if you want to, like, you know, if you maybe want to do some bossing on another character, maybe you can open them there and then see if you can get some IED there, for example, if they are going to need it, something like that. Because if you do, because, you know, if you have extra there, you can also extract once you have everything or something, you know, if you do get it. And then you can also buy booster packs there, and then the cards, if they're useful, you can just transfer them back, so it's not like completely lost.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I haven't thought about other characters for bossing pretty much.
Yeah, it just said like as an option if you do decide later on, Yeah.
Is that like a good investment to make?
It's a good start because IED typically comes a little bit rough for most characters early on. It'll be very useful because the main thing is like once you get to everything is kind of like really really easy until you get to CRA, and then CRA is like whoa, way harder than everything else you've ever encountered. And if you could just pop like the Adele, if you pop 2 familiars with 15% ID on there, you get a little bit of potential on the weapon secondary emblem, and you practice a little bit. That guy can CRA in a few levels.
Okay, so, but like, getting characters to be able to CRA is pretty worth it.
I think so, because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy knowing that I can, and then the boss crystals every week is good value, I think. And yeah, the more backups you have, the less, or the more risk you can take with star forcing stuff if you want to, push the character a little bit further because you have so many backups. So that way you can get the value out of the backups as an insurance policy that you don't have to safeguard, basically.
Okay. That'll be a lot of work.
Yeah, well, also because of the change to when you die that you're no longer going to lose experience, right? I mean, that's 6 months from now, but if you do tend to take breaks and stuff, 6 months can be over before you know it. And suddenly you come back and you're like, oh yeah, let me farm a little bit on the Kana, and it's like, oh, and then you have to go to a new area. You don't have any arcane power. You can't kill anything anymore, and it's like, ugh. Yeah. And then the more reliable income from characters that can kill CRA. I think the Dawn Warrior probably be able to do it pretty quickly. Hero with a little bit of funding can do it pretty quickly. Night Lord actually is surprisingly good burst in the 5th job, so does need to have some stuff. But like with Adele, Hero, Night Lord, and the Dawn Warrior, I think you can get those to the point, I think, pretty quickly. Not sure about the Lumi and the Mercedes. I haven't experienced those enough. Mihal actually, I think is kind of strong too, but the main thing what you want to do is if you do tend to take breaks, try to get the permanent CRA stuff before you take a break, because there's nothing worse than seeing people like, oh, I didn't play for 3 months and now I come back and my character's gear expired and now I can't do anything. Like that's really bad. So if you can avoid that, that would be, yeah, so you don't set yourself up for coming back and being like, oh.
Okay, yeah. Do you know anything about if Frozen's better than Pencilier or Necromancer?
So if I'm gonna be bossing, I care more about the. So your range looks higher on Pencilier because it gives you damage to normal monsters, and damage to normal monster gets thrown visibly into your damage range. So that's why that seems good. So if you're just gonna train up to 200. Pencilier is probably better than Frozen because you can get higher Star Force on it as well. So I would just get Pencilier and just train it up to 200. If you're planning on bossing along the way or actually investing a little bit more into your character, then probably getting decent flames on Necro or Von Leon, or maybe Empress, but probably Necro or Von Leon. Von Leon is more something if you're doing like solo progression a little bit more slowly and you want to get like actual better gear with better set bonus. Necro is what I do because I'm doing it like on 40 characters. So at that point, I can't like invest all of that specific time per character, so I just go more quantity over quality approach a little bit.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Where all the sets kind of lie? Yeah. But Frozen is like really, really good at 100, and it's good from like 100 to get you to around 150, and then you want to swap over basically. Often you keep, you maybe sometimes you keep the cape, or sometimes you keep the secondary or something, but the rest usually all gets swapped. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all the questions I can have right now.
Yeah, one thing you can also think about is a Sweetwater weapon. That's also pretty good. Definitely if you're going to be playing a dual blade and stuff, want to get the Sweetwater Katara. Those are pretty achievable now, right? Because the drop rate is way higher now for them. A lot of times you get it on the first or the second day, and then if you don't get it the second day, you can already start running CPQ, so there's always a good chance that you get it like within 4 days. You should always get it within 4 days, so. A lot of base attack, 30% boss, 10% IED. So if you're trying to get to CRA but you don't have, pieces yet, that's the weapon to go there.
Okay.
All right. Anything else you can think about?
I think there's a lot to work on, and hopefully,
Always is.
hopefully I can change my once I start Force, and then maybe I'll be able to do Lotus. If not, I'll change my emblem, see if I can do Lotus. And then
it's also practice.
slowly.
Yeah, just a bunch more practice will help a lot.
Yeah. Frustrating too when you go into Lotus and then get to second phase and then game crashes.
Oh yeah, has that happened to you a lot with the platforms? It was happening with a Buccaneer for me. Every time he stood on a platform and then Lotus would attack him, his game would close every time.
Oh, mine's was something to do with like the ball, the big ball. Whenever he summoned it and a platform would fall, like my game would just like freeze and crash. Not every time, but like it happened a couple times.
I see. Oh, one thing we didn't mention. Okay, the last thing I will mention, and you'll see that in the video as well. If you check that video of the 275 Beasttamer doing hard Damien, one thing you can do is you have, I think it's called Per Zone.
Yeah.
To remove the blue balls. You know about that?
Oh, no, I don't.
So there's big blue balls in the third phase, and if you're standing in them, your healing is reduced by 90% and your damage is reduced by 90%. But apparently Per Zone has like a chance of just removing those balls from the map, and then you can just freely run around and attack. That's the only way that the Beasttamer was able to kill, because otherwise you can't even confirm your burst, because then the blue ball just floats over you. Yeah, and then boom, your damage is reduced by 90%, and then there's like nothing going through. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like another trick. Yeah. And it might take some practice, so that'll be a good thing to try to get better at.
Yeah.
Removing balls, what the fuck? All right, yeah, well, if anything else comes up in like the next day or two or something, I'll be always streaming and I'll be available through Discord, so just let me know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish you the best of luck. I think you have a lot to work on, but a solid plan, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll see you next time when you post in the chat when you clear Lotus and Damien. Okay, let us know.
Yes.
With that big screenshot with the achievement on the screen and everything.
Yep. That's gonna be a rough one.
Yeah, I can hear that you really want it, but you also know that it's not gonna be easy to get it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if it came too easy, then it wouldn't be worth it, right?
That's true. That's very true.
All right. Best of luck.
Thank you.
And have a nice rest of your day and a late Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year too.
All right. See you around.
Bye.
Bye. Right. Of course, Beasttamer, not my expertise exactly, but I think we were able to figure out pretty much how to do. Man, you got some crazy ID. That's with that hyper. But yeah, 1 minute uptime, 3 minute cooldown is not great. As long as you can sync it with all the other stuff. If you would like a progression session as well, make sure you check the description of the video. And I will be live all day, every day at Scardor.com. No. Well, actually, Scardor.com also. That exists. And there's also going to be something cool on Scardor.com soon. So check it every now and then, okay? But until then, see you on Twitch.